Well, that's great. Who's going with you? You're going by yourself? What? What are you talking about? Oh my God. You ever gotten any reactions like that? Come on back. We're going to discuss it. Hey y'all, welcome back. So this video is about solo travel. Solo traveling, and especially female solo traveling. Y'all know, I've had the Gal Gone Camping channel now a little over a year, and I've had the blog about 3 years, over 3 years now. And it's all about camping, RVing, living and working on the road, adventure, all kinds of travel stuff. And most of that is solo. And, I am not the only one. You guys, there are other people that do this, other women that do this and think like I do. Just there doesn't seem to be any around here. And maybe there's not any where you are either. I'm not necessarily just speaking to females in this video. As we go on, you'll see what I'm talking about, because this does apply to everybody, every solo person. So anyway, I'm going to tell you what happened. So for me, it's second nature to travel alone. I don't think anything about it. And does that come from a gypsy spirit you're born with, an adventurous soul? Probably, somewhat, but, there's other reasons too. I've always been kind of like a loner. I was the only child, and I can entertain myself. I always could. I don't need somebody to entertain me or whatever. And I'm not saying that, of course, it's fun, to go places with someone, or with your significant other, or with friends, or with someone, but I don't have to. I never have. And that is so hard for people to understand, at least a lot of them that I've come in contact with, even some of my good friends. But, so I'll tell you what happened. So, if y'all have watched the, my last video, it was a 2-part video. I, went to Greenville, Ohio. I took the Miniette, my minivan micro camper. More information on that coming too, you guys. I didn't take the camper on this trip, but I took that. And I research. That's one thing. I research everywhere I go. Before I go, I research everything about it. And I know what's around there before I even get there. I know, what I can do with how much time I've got. I know what I want to see, how far it is to my base camp. So I know all that before I go. And that's one important thing we'll talk about in a minute. But, so I was so excited. The trip was centered around one of my Western heroes, Annie Oakley. And she was born in Greenville, Ohio. She was a big icon of the West in the Buffalo Bill Wild West show, and Little Sure Shot, the sharpshooter of the Wild West show, and she was just phenomenal. So when I found out they had a festival centered around her, I wanted to go. And of course, everything was canceled last year, and didn't get to go. But I'm like, I'm going this year, and so I did. And I'm telling you all, this was one of the best trips I have ever had. And watch that video. It's 2 parts. The first part is kind of, getting to the campground, getting set up, and kind of showing you around the area, and talking about Annie Oakley's life. If you don't know anything about her, you really got to get in there and listen to that and find out about her. She was phenomenal. But anyway, so had a fantastic time. Everything about that trip could have been any better. I mean, the weather was perfect. I got to see everything and do everything I had planned to do. It couldn't have been any better. And I was just so happy and so full of I was just full of joy, because I went, I had such a good time, and it was great. So anyway, I get home, and a couple days later, I mean, I'm still on a high over it. I still am. But anyway, I was telling one of my really good friends about it, about my trip and what a good time I had. And she said, "You went by yourself?" And just at that moment, it's kind of like, I kind of just felt, just for a moment, a little deflated. It's like, kind of like it just took the air out of me. And I'm like, am I supposed to be shamed into into thinking that I shouldn't be going somewhere by myself because I'm not in a relationship, because I'm not with someone, I'm not with a a partner, a guy or a friend or something that wasn't going with me. And I just can't understand that way of thinking. And I know, you guys, she didn't mean anything by it whatsoever. I know she didn't. I know her. She's one of my very best friends, and she didn't mean anything by it. But it just got me to thinking about society in general. And that's the way they think. That's the way about 95% of people think. And why is that? Why is it that what I think is normal for me, just taking off somewhere by myself, why is that not the norm? And I just got to thinking about that. And I definitely want you all to chime in on the comments, what you think. I'm thinking fear probably is the biggest one. Fear, maybe embarrassment of being by yourself, just simply no desire to go somewhere by yourself. Or you think you can't enjoy anything by yourself. Is that what some people think? Maybe. I don't know. But talking about fear, which is the big one, where does that come from? Are we born with that? I think it is society, news, media. It shows all the bad stuff. It shows all the bad stuff. They like to keep us scared so they can keep us in a box. That's what I think. So we won't think independently, won't think creatively, to fear our fellow man. And I'm not saying you guys we have to be cautious. You have to be safe. You have to use common sense. You have to be cautious. But my goodness, you have to do that in your house. You have to do that wherever you go, in your workplace. So why then, is there such a fear of just sitting out on your own and going somewhere on a solo trip? I mean, I don't know. I know some people can't even go to the next county by themselves, or I just don't understand it. But, everybody's not a serial killer. They're not. Are they out there? There's going to be bad people everywhere. There's going to be things that could happen anywhere you are. You cannot live in fear. You cannot live in fear. I don't know. Maybe they're afraid of having an accident, being murdered. I don't know. Breaking down. That's all. Now that crosses my mind. But you know what? Just like anything else, you deal with the problem when it comes up. You can't live in anticipation of everything that could go wrong. You've got to be prepared as possible. Be as prepared as you can. Have a plan A, B, and C. And I actually did a blog post about this. Oh, I think it maybe was earlier in the year. But if you get on the galgoncamping.com website, you can find it in the blog. And it's about how to deal. It had to do with fear. And I talk about how, the best thing to do if you're thinking, if you are afraid or whatever, go through each worst case scenario. If you're thinking what could happen, go through each one of those in your mind and think about what you would do in that situation. And in your mind, have everything planned that what you would do if something like that was to happen. And those things like, what do you have as safety measures and security measures, in your vehicle, on your body, on your person? You have to go through all that and think about it. But wouldn't you do that at home too? Wouldn't you do that? Don't you do that at your house? So it's just something to think about. And I'm going to talk about the specifics of that later, about items and other safety measures that you can take when you're traveling alone. I'm going to go into detail about that later in in a blog post, I do believe, and probably do a video on it. Maybe top 10 items or something like that. I think that would be a good thing to do. The other reason, embarrassment. Again, society, you guys. Society promotes that. You're supposed to be, a couple, you're supposed to be this or that, to be happy, to be successful, to be what others think you should be to make you successful and happy, and it's just such a crap. It's just a load of crap. It's truly a load of crap, and it's not true. I mean, but we're programmed. We're programmed to think that. I mean, why? Why not? I mean, do you have to be attached to the hip with somebody to enjoy a movie, even? Go for a hike in the woods or a walk in the park or, um, and to go on a trip. What is wrong with going by yourself? And why is there a stigma associated with it? I don't get it. Um, you know, it's all about outward appearances. Just like I was saying, if somebody sees you by yourself or eating alone, a lot of people can't eat alone. They wouldn't go in a restaurant and eat something by themselves for nothing. Why? If you don't want to sit at a table alone, you could always sit at the bar, and that doesn't mean that you're drinking. Most places serve food at the bar, so you're sitting as an individual instead of at a table alone or whatever. But even get a table by yourself, and most of the time people's on their phone anyway. While they're eating, they'll be looking at their phone, or they could, you could be doing some work. Bring your work to the table to eat. I mean, you just should not be ashamed to take part in things that you like to do just because you're by yourself. That's, I guess, the point of all this. And some people say, well, I don't have any desire to go anywhere by myself. And I get that. But why? Again, I mean, do you think, what makes a person feel that way? And I did a video back when COVID first started and everything shut down, about the isolation of, and social distancing and all that. When everybody else was just dying, I loved it. But it goes back, I guess, to me being a loner. I enjoy being around other people. I do. But I don't have to be to get enjoyment and just love it. I don't. And I think if people could kind of get to that point, they would be a lot happier. Because you guys, I mean, if you are in a relationship, somebody's going to die first. That's what I talk about in that video. And then what are you going to do? We're going to grieve for that person, certainly, but you got to go on living, and they would want you to. What are you going to do? You've got to, I talk about in that video that happiness, inner happiness, inner joy comes from within. It comes from the inside. And you cannot put all of that on another human being because they're not capable of providing it anyway. I mean, another person can enhance your joy and your happiness and all that, but it can't be sustained. That comes from within, and my personal belief that comes from God. But anyway, I think that, people could find more enjoyment in solitude and quietness. There's always so much noise going on all the time, and if you're with somebody constantly, I mean, try to get some enjoyment out of just being alone, maybe in nature or in whatever it is that you love to do. I mean, this is centered around traveling, solo travel pretty much, but, it goes beyond that. Just trying to get people to understand to, find joy in being alone. Doing things that you love, you can certainly enjoy them alone. You don't have to be with somebody to enjoy it. And it just, you can enjoy stuff by yourself. Is that selfish? Some people might think that's selfish. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think God wants us to enjoy the life that He gave us. As long as we always put Him first. He gave us a life to enjoy, and I think we need to just be aware of that peace and solitude and how it can open us up to expanding our awareness. I always want to say I want to expand my horizons and not my ass. So, if y'all are getting any value of this in this video, hit the thumbs up, okay? But somebody would maybe ask, would I be taking off on these trips? Would I be doing that if I was in a relationship? You bet I would. And I have. I've been in relationships, and I still, maybe they didn't want to go, but I went right on. I'm not going to be held back by anybody who doesn't want to do what I want to do. And, there's plenty of opportunities to be with like-minded people. Maybe if you're your spouse or your significant other doesn't want to go out, don't like to travel or whatever, and don't let that prevent you from going. Go by yourself. And even if you don't want to stay at the location the whole time by yourself, there's plenty of opportunities, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute with groups, for men and women. There's caravans, nomadic groups. There's one I belong to is Girl Camper and Sisters on the Fly, and it's awesome for people who don't necessarily want to be alone, but they can travel. If you can travel alone to the location, then you can be with a group if you want to be. And I do both. I do both, and so I'm just, trying to get people to think about that. And, I don't want you all, women especially, I don't want anybody, but especially females. I don't want y'all to be embarrassed or, feel ashamed or to travel or go anywhere or do anything because you don't have someone in your life, like you're not in a relationship. I don't want people to feel that way because I think it confines them. It really confines them, and it's going to hold them back from really enjoying so much more that they could be enjoying. So, I just want to inspire, and that's what this channel is about. It's got all kinds of different content in it, centered around travel and adventure and camping and all that kind of thing. But there's a lot of content on this channel. And it may be called Galgon Camping, but it truly is for women and men because so many of the issues apply, So I want to inspire confidence and independence and empowerment, learning how to do things yourself. You get such great satisfaction when you do something yourself, and that builds your confidence, and I want to see that in people. Don't be afraid to get out there. Be smart. You can't be stupid. You got to be safe. You got to be smart. You got to be cautious, just like you would anywhere. But don't let that prevent you from having adventures and taking off on your own. And I think as long as you're prepared, and take the necessary precautions and safety measures and use common sense, don't be held back. If you're thinking about that, if there's anybody out there who has felt like especially females, who has felt like embarrassed or held back or whatever from going somewhere and maybe realizing their full potential and wanting to get up there and travel solo just because of what somebody else says, your family, they're just concerned or whatever. No, I don't think anybody gets me, really. I mean, I've dealt with that a lot. You're going by yourself? Oh, why? Is nobody going with you? Like, no. And I don't necessarily want them to, So, it's funny. I know I'm not the only one out there. I promise you guys, I'm not the only one out there. And some of you guys are listening, I'm sure, probably know that too. But you all, and if you are, if there's nobody around you in your family or your support system that, cheers you on, there are plenty of people. You just got to find your tribe. And so anyway, faith over fear. That's the main thing. Faith over fear. Remember, if you guys are getting any value out of this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because you guys, there's a lot of things coming up. I just got back from a girl camper trip. It was phenomenal. And I think we may have had the Mothman curse sweep through there. You got to find out what that's about, and that'll be coming up. And what happened just like a day or two after I got back from the camping trip. You will not believe it. You will not believe it. Oh my God. Coming up, the Don't Wait to Live. I sign off all of my blog posts and the videos with that. What does that mean? Gonna talk about that coming up. A vintage camper issue. I'm in my vintage camper right now. My 1974 Bonanza Pinto that I love, love, love. I got an issue with it. I'm going to talk about that, and hopefully it's going to be resolved, and I cannot wait to see what happens with that, and I can share that information with you all. I still got some video from my Texas adventure earlier in the year about some beachfront camping and that kind of thing I've got to put on. I'm behind on that. I got behind on a lot of things, but lots of things coming up, you guys. Harvest Toast, new Harvest Toast locations. Y'all know how I love Harvest Toast. It's the best kept secret in RVing, I believe, today. And if you decide on a membership for that, you get 15% off. If you go through my link, you can find out more information on that on the website. So go over to galgoncamping.com and subscribe so you don't miss anything. My latest issue of Work Camper News just came in the mail, and I'm an affiliate with Work Camper News as well. And that is a organization that's been around since the 80s. And I've talked about it before, but if y'all have ever thought about either now or on down the road about traveling and you still need to make an income and you want to see the country, this hooks you up with jobs all over the U.S. and Canada. Where you can travel and see the world. You know, you do like a 3-month stint or whatever, and you just move on to the next place. Fantastic opportunities. And there too, because I am an affiliate, if you go through my link and use my code AMB147, you get extra months free on your membership if you go through that. So anyway, you guys, be sure subscribe here to the Galgon Camping YouTube channel. Hop over to galgoncamping.com, subscribe there. Be sure you hit the notification bell, hit thumbs up, share, like if you would, follow along on Facebook and Instagram. And I have a group page called Living, L-I-V-I-N-G, capital letters, with Catrina. And that is all kinds of different subjects, and it's just a fun place to discuss different things. So anyway, y'all have a fantastic day. And remember, don't wait to live. See you down the road. And get out there. Do some solo traveling. I promise it's not a bad thing. You'll love it.